All right, we want to get started and get you guys home. I hope that the weather doesn't follow us this way into the fall. We wanted to do something special by going downtown today, but it didn't quite work out. I want to welcome everybody here today. We're going to try to get this done in less than an hour if we possibly can, and I think we can do that today. The first thing I want to do is introduce John Hirschman, and then he's going to introduce each of his varsity coaches, assistant coaches, and they're just going to say just a few words. So, Johnny?
All right, I'm John Hirschman. I'm the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. Let the other guys introduce themselves. Kevin?
I'm Kevin Braddock. I work with I'm the special teams coordinator, and I also work with the wide receivers and some backs, defensive backs, things of that nature. So I've been doing, this will be my third or fourth year as a coordinator, and look forward to working with everybody again. I'll hand it over to Jason.
Jason Peterson, offensive line and defensive line coach.
Dan Zinniga, O-line, D-line.
Tyler Bailey, the defensive coordinator.
Kevin Crossway, fresh soft, defensive coordinator, receivers, and linebackers.
Ronnie Hughes, offensive and defensive line.
Brian Orbach, strength conditioning.
DJ Hobbs, I'm O-line and D-line for JV, fresh off.
Since everybody listens so well, I'll walk down here for Shane.
Shane Stickard, working with the JV special teams.
I'm Stephen Grace, taking over as Fresh Soft head coach this year. So Butch initially said he wanted me to say a few words about expectations and what we're planning on. Then he said we've only got an hour for this whole thing. So there goes my whole speech. It's going to be here for at least 45 minutes, but no, I'm just kidding. I'm excited for this. Obviously, most of you know I've been doing the Bearcast for quite some time. There's at least one guy over here that's got headphones on that's really upset that I'm in this spot because he really loves having me do the Bearcast. It was hard for me to make that decision, but it was something that I've always been interested in, and just seeing that opportunity to work a little bit differently and be able to get on the field and work with the young men and try to do some things. And so really going to keep it pretty simple for us this year. We're wanting to, first and foremost, have a lot of fun. You know, you guys are still freshmen, sophomore in high school. It's fun. It's coming out there. We want to work hard. We want to learn. We want to grow as football players, and also, as we'll hear from Coach Peterson, learn about how to grow as individuals as well and be fine citizens, do some good things both on and off the field. So really, that's what it boils down to, is coming out, having fun, and making sure that you guys are most prepared so that if week 3 there's an injury and you get called up to varsity, or next year or 2 years from now when you get called up to varsity, you guys are as prepared as you can be. So that's what we're looking forward to, and we're really excited for it.
The one thing I want to talk about, we talked to some kids the other day in school, is entitlement. What does entitlement mean? I'm going to have one of the young ones. Crossway, what does entitlement mean? Real loud. That's very good. Thinking that you're going to get something and you don't really have to work for it. We don't have that in our program. If you're going to have something in the program, you have to work hard. You have to give everything you have. You have to develop a team and a family-type atmosphere, and I think that's worked for us a long time. When selfishness ends, team success begins, and I think that's what we've had a lot of luck at doing in quite a few years. Another thing I want to mention, if coaches, if all they do is teach football, we fail the players as a coach. We should be able to teach them to be a better human being as well as a football player. Otherwise, we're not doing our job. Chet's going to be in charge of the claw this year. He told me to mention he's out of town this weekend. Mike Montgomery, Nolan Staker, Cole Crossway, Dylan, Nate Hills, Trenton Schutte, Shay Farmer, Max Lodge, Aiden Denbaum, Carver and Evan are going to be on the claw this year. Does that make sense? Okay. Next, what we got? Some of the changes that we have this year. We will have no Saturday practices. This is starting to become fairly positive around the area. We do have a ball game on Friday night if we're a long ways away we get back. You will not be practicing on Saturday. You will be practicing on Sunday. This has been okayed by the administration at 5 o'clock, where we'll do a real quick look at our game tapes. They'll probably be longer than the most part of them are. A quick lift and a walk through. And this will give you a chance to relax after a game that you played on Friday night. And it'll also give you an opportunity to check on injuries with our trainer to see everything's going to work out well. Pregame meals, Brian has been working on those, and all the players will attend or you will not play in the game, period. This meal will be lighter than meals have in the past, but it's still going to give you plenty of energy for the game. All uniforms that we're going to get this year, all the game uniforms on away games are all brand new. We're also going to have brand new throwback jerseys, and Dave McElrath is behind that, trying to get more money involved in that. New policy on number of lifts this year is a little different than in the past. You're going to be required in the summertime into August 15th, 25 lifts. Now, if you are an average lifter, you're probably going to not have any problem getting 25 lifts. If for some reason you show up in August and you only have like 12 lifts, you then have until August 15th to get the rest of those lifts. If you don't get those lifts, then you don't have bare decals on your helmet until you do. So the first game we play Lisbon, if you only have 12 lifts, your helmet's going to be pretty bare. Okay, and that's up to you. You guys have to make that decision and if that's important enough for you. That's the new policy, but there's a lot of schools that do that same policy in the state. We've never done it, but I wanted to do it this year. Also, game day shirts will be worn at school. Last year we had some of the older kids complaining about the fact that some of the kids weren't wearing their game day shirt. You paid some money down there for game day shirts today. If you don't wear your game day shirt, and I don't care who you are, you're not playing that night. You're not riding on the bus. You can go to Iowa City, go to Carlos O'Kelly's or whatever you want to do, but you're not going. Does that make sense? And we'll talk about this more as we get closer. We want a little more tighter discipline on that. We're going to have Bulldogs parents want to have a breakfast for you. It's going to be the first week, sometime during camp, and she hasn't said exactly when she wants to do it. We want you to carry, what are the two boys right there, Carver and Kenny, what are we going to carry? Tell everybody what we're going to carry every day in school. If you don't, attaboy, good. Real loud. A gallon of water you're going to carry back and forth through school. We should not have any dehydration on that situation. We're going to always be carrying a gallon of water back and forth to class, okay? When you give your jersey to someone, be careful who you give it to. We had a kid a couple years ago who gave it to a young lady who didn't behave very well that night and ruined the jersey, and that cost that kid about $60. So be real careful who you allow your game day jersey to go to. And if you don't want to give it to anybody, don't give it to anybody, okay? And also stress to each other the importance of making good decisions on and off the field. I think that's vital. We have to continue to do that. Kevin Braddock would like to talk to you next, followed by John Hirschman.
All right. I've got a little something Butch here wants me to share with you guys about, well, I'll just read it. Bear with me here. I learned how to read a long time ago at West Branch. So it starts out as a good coach must be a good teacher first. Remember, when a player makes a mistake, it's on the coach too. Good coaches find ways to make it easy for players to learn. Players have different learning modes, so good coaches figure out how kids learn the best and stick to that method. I don't respect coaches who complain about players who may be having trouble learning their assignments. Find a way to teach your players and then overteach them so they can react, not think. Good coaches know each player has a trigger inside of them that when pushed correctly by the coach, good things will happen. Some players need to be pushed hard, some need a pat on the back, another might need a fatherly approach. The old approach that kids need to be treated the same is not successful as it's totally outdated. Okay, this field itself is a tribute to our ancestors. I guess this was written for us to be downtown. So the Little Rose Bowl was built in the early 1900s by a team of mules and horses and grizzly workmen working as a family. They built this man-made bowl. It's what we call the Little Rose Bowl. It's famous in the state of Iowa and in the Midwest, and is a historic venue. Just a few years ago, the field was honored as one of the top 10 in the United States that fans need to go to watch a ball game on a Friday night. It's a pretty cool honor. So it's pretty neat. That's all I think I have here, but if we were downtown, I think somebody may end up talking about some of the improvements that are going on with the field downtown. It's taken a couple of years. It's somewhat deteriorated, and I know a lot of people are putting a lot of time and effort and financial backing to get that back to a respectable place to play ball again. So should be a good fall.
All right, I've got a little thing that Butch wrote here as well, but before I get to that, Kevin talked about how different kids learn differently. So one thing you'll notice, guys, the offensive playbook is huge. I don't expect you all to memorize it. I would be surprised if y'all do. Quarterbacks probably have to get into it a little more than others. But as far as kids learning differently, I feel like we've got everything in that playbook that we could run this year. Will we run it all? Absolutely not. But you'll have this in paper. It's also out in Huddle for you to look at. And then we'll install it on a chalkboard and Chalk Talk, and then we'll go through and walk through it on the field. I know the older guys are nodding, they know this. You younger guys got this playbook that's this big, and you're probably in panic mode right now. Don't expect you to memorize all of it. You're gonna have that, it's in Huddle, we're gonna teach it to you on a chalkboard, we're gonna walk through it on the field. So you've got several different methods that you're gonna learn from with that. Also, for you to be able to learn those things, we'll have open gyms this summer. They'll probably be Sunday nights at 5, and then depending on what the baseball schedule is, we'll probably shoot for like 5 o'clock on a Wednesday night. But if there's a baseball game, we'll move that week to week. I've got a Twitter account, I post that kind of stuff too, but most times I'll just let the captains know, and the captains will do a good job of letting the other players know. We'll have 7-on-7 games, June 3rd, June 22nd, and June 26th. The first two are at Mount Vernon at 6:30. The June 26th one is at City High. Right now they're saying at 11 o'clock, but it very likely will move to later that day. But June 3rd, June 22nd, June 26th will be 7-on-7 events. All right. So, along the lines of the playbooks, there's one of them in there that Butch wrote, and there's a lot of motivational things in there. I think it would be good for you guys to read. This is one of the pages from that. Before you become a team, you are just a group. The team is something that is earned. Players need to put others before themselves to benefit the goals of the team. You earn a spot on the team. After that, you earn an opportunity to play. You must earn it. You don't deserve it. This is a huge difference between the two. No excuses, no attitude, no poor me. Go to work and earn what you get. We're going to teach you how to do things you never thought you could do. If you don't hustle, you will not play. Size does matter, so does heart. Heavyweights knock out lightweights. Relationships are the foundation upon which winning teams are built. Winning doesn't start in the locker room, it begins in your mind. On bad teams, no one leads. On average teams, only the coaches lead. Championship teams, players lead. And that I believe wholeheartedly. And some of you seniors this year, I've talked to you guys about that kind of thing. It's got to come from you guys. It's going to mean a whole lot more when you lead these young guys than what it does when us old guys try to do it. If you want to be the best you can be, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Football players, when you get older, you're going to realize that the people who demanded your best were also the ones who cared about you the most. If what we coach is too hard for the players to understand, That's on the coaches, not the players. We need to keep it simple.
All right, let's talk a little bit about your schedule this year real quickly. You're going to open up with Lisbon, and the one thing that I'm concerned about, to be real honest with you, and I know I'm pretty black and white on this, I'm going to tell you what I think. I hope that you don't have a fat head, and that you come in here thinking all you have to do is show up. Because if you do, you're going to be really, really, really disappointed. You have a schedule that's extremely tough, and there's going to be a lot of competition, and I don't care whether you're a freshman or you're a senior, the best person's going to play. It doesn't make any difference. That's the way it should be. Lisbon is the team that we played at first. I think they won their district real easy in track the other day, didn't they? They're an excellent team. They're going to have excellent athletes. We beat them last year 12-6. The second game was Waterloo Columbus. They really shut our offense down. They were much more physical than we were at times, and we just didn't do a very good job. The effort was good. The rest of the part wasn't so good, and we got beat 17-6. And they're going to be a very, very good football team. The next team is Maquoketa Valley. That'll be your throwback game where you get your new jerseys to wear. They're going to be better than they were last year, but they're in a rebuilding process. The next game is L&M. They too were very young last year, and they're trying to improve. Minneapolis is going to be our homecoming game. They're a good football team. They're going to have a great football team again this year. Kenny came back late and tackled a guy that was going to probably score a touchdown on an 80-yard some run. The defense held. We kicked the ball, and we won the ball game. And it was a great football win for us, and I think it catapulted us into the rest of the part of that season. 24-21 win. Durant, I hope that some of the coaches who did play against Durant don't compare Durant now to when they played. If you do, you're wrong. They've improved a lot. They've got a great player in DeLong. They're going to be a good football team. That game's going to be played at Durant. We beat them 28-14 last year. Regina, the home, it's going to be our senior night. They were much more physical than we were last year. They will have a good football team. 26-8 loss. I think it still sticks in some of your craws on that particular game. Wilton, I feel this is a team that could be favored to win the district. They're big. I talked to the coach the other day at a track meet, and he said that this kid had been more in the weight room this year than he's seen him in a long, long time. We beat them last year 28-12. Last year's playoff games, Cardinal Belden hadn't won since the coming of whatever, and they were not very good, but last year they showed up, they worked hard, they got better, and I was very impressed with them as far as their hustle and determination. We beat them 35-6 at a home game. The last game of the year, Dyersville-Beckman. This team was much stronger than we were. We had trouble running the football, so our offense didn't do a whole lot. And we got beat 24-7. So there's a lot of things I think we can improve on and we need to improve on, but I think we have the ability to do that. And I'm excited, really excited to have you guys ready to go. One of the things we tried to do this spring is we only had 3 open gyms. Some sports have 20. We had 3. And we did that so the sports in the spring could have their time playing sports in the spring. I don't think it's fair to take away their time when they're in season. I think a lot of you guys agree with that, and I think you appreciated that. You want to win the district championship, ask yourself these 6 questions. What sacrifices am I willing to make to achieve my goals? How hard are you willing to work? Are you willing to give up some of your social time with friends? Number 2, what talents and skills do I have to acquire to be the best I can be? Are you going to work hard, encourage other teammates to do the same to improve those skills? That's the real key in a high school football program. If you've got kids who aren't doing very much, go out there and encourage them. Don't complain to them, but go out and encourage them and teach them what they need to do in order to be successful. Number 3, whom do I have to work with to accomplishment? Your teammates are vital. You must work as a family with your teammates. You can't win with one person. The key to this team this year is going to be team, team, team. Number 4, what problems am I going to have to overcome? A lot of times when you're young kids and you're growing and learning things, the number 1 problem you usually have is self-confidence. You must believe in yourself. I don't give a darn if no one else believes in you. You must be mentally strong. If you're mentally strong, you're going to also help make you more physically strong. Number 5, what kinds of choices am I going to make between now and achieving my goals? Understand life is a matter of choices. I think that's a good point. Life is a matter of choices. You owe it to your teammates to dedicate yourself to this team. And 6, am I going to be a responsible athlete off the field? Accountability to yourselves, your family, and your coaches is a must. Are you willing to dedicate your current lifestyle to be as good as you can be, or are you still a little boy who simply has no self-discipline? I firmly believe as the head coach in this program that you guys are going to be very good. But we're going to push you to be as good as you possibly can be, and you're going to have a lot of fun because the claw group's going to do a lot of different fun things that you guys know that we've done in the past. Tonight, there's 56, Stephen. Tonight we have 56 kids out. And we're usually around 42 or 43. So that's a big number. We are the smallest 1A team in the state of Iowa. Usually that's 35 kids. Those teams usually have around 35. You've got 56, and that's to your credit. Make sure you keep building on that. And I can't wait, and Stephen wants to finish this up.
All right, well, hopefully we are out of here in a little under an hour. Real quick, parents, thank you ahead of time. I know that a lot of times we work with the guys. You guys are running kids here, there, everywhere. You do a lot of stuff. We greatly appreciate that. We know that you trust us with your young men to be able to teach them football, but also help show them some of those other things we talked about. So we appreciate that. We appreciate everything that you do, and we look forward to working with you guys throughout the season as well. So. As we know, the season is going to be here before we know it. It seems like time flies by, and I want to stress that you guys will soon be creating memories that last for a lifetime. It's important that you prepare for this journey, take advantage of the opportunity that you will be given. You get to play West Branch football. You don't have to. You get to. You get to work with your football brothers here at West Branch. You get to do the walk with Back in Black blaring on a Friday night coming down Oliphant Street. It's known over the entire state, and it's an awesome experience. You get to play in the historic Little Rose Bowl. You get to become legends to the little kids in our community. You will be the talk of the fall in West Branch. The entire community will come to your football field to see you take the gridiron against an opponent on our schedule. You'll get to touch the Wayne Rummel's touchstone at the top of the hill. You'll get to go out to eat as brothers, go to a movie as brothers. Our program is so much more than win-at-all-cost program. You get to do community projects as well. You get to help needy people here in town and give back to those that support you. And all of that helps you develop into a better person with all of these lessons that are taught in this program. You get to feel the motto of so many players that have come before you, once a bear, always a bear, that never leaves your inner soul. Guys, it is upon us. The time is now. Let's get ready for some football this fall.